Which one? This one? This one. Diane. That's me.
You're the only one that doesn't need an name.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what Cal said to me earlier. He goes, do you know that you're the only one here that knows everybody? I said, yeah. I have lots of stories. But it's...
You want the microphone now?
There's a card in there too.
You're supposed to read the card first.
Well, I didn't see it.
That's what mothers always say.
Here, Diane.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not going to read it now. It's not right. But it's from Aunt Honey and Uncle Russell. My mother already got me today. I'll show you what she gave me. When I was a child, I used to watch The Sound of Music like 2 times a day. And I would watch The Sound of Music all the time. I could sing all the songs. Would you like to hear them?
Just one, Diane.
Well, my mother gave me this today, and on the bottom of it, the song that this plays. Oh, my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things, and it's meaningful. But when I was a child, I played that all the time, and I'd sing. I always thought I'd be a singer. And that was just obviously I didn't work.
Everybody in Europe knows you're not.
Carrie, you know,
Very good,
tell
Carrie.
about the times we got on the table. So
How does that part go? When the dog barks.
Something like that. Okay, you can hold it.
Don't be embarrassed. Put it on. You're 40. Don't be embarrassed.
No, it's really not. This is me! I dressed up for Cal's 40th like this! I'm gonna wear this the first day of school! Alright, you cats! Annie knows it, so does Connie! Who did that? My Aunt Honey! That is the best! Oh, this is so funny! Oh, sorry.
Hey, Les.
No, a year ago. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, gosh, I wonder how she got that. I was afraid. Oh, my God. Remember that picture? I am that picture. No, I was awesome. Oh, this is so funny.
Hey, Leslie. Where's the other part of it?
That is so funny.
Yeah, my own little part.
This says soup. Sue's having a birthday too. I guess that's your present.
You blew it.
You have something else Somebody put it there by mistake. Like part on the back. Part on the back. Just Diane, the big four. Kidding. She said she's going to get it first day of school.
I know they're all going, come on, let's go.
So far, it's great. What did you just say?
Well,
What did he say?
probably haven't appreciated
Always the party girl, aren't you? Oh, isn't that, where are they? Oops. No, oh, right here. Right here. This is a great card. Always the party girl, aren't you? I have no clue what you're talking about.
Are you sure the glasses are on the white one over there?
Isn't that priceless? Pretty ugly, huh? The kids do it? Oh, this is nice. A teacher's journal. I have lots of things. Oh, look at all the blank pages right now. Goddamn kid talk shit.
Pardon me, Jay. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Call him up and find out if he's going to be back to the Midwest.
Whoa, listen to that bone street.
What's it?
Walk the wall. Papa's got a brand new face. Older. Well, then time. I'll take care of myself.
So I put this one on. Put a t-shirt on that.
Diane, here, honey. Diane, look at the back. Ed made it. And look at the back. This is Hey, cruise wear, girls.
That's only they can find at 50 Burton.
These are beautiful, thank you. I don't know who brought these, but I have to get them in water. Okay. Anybody? Water.
We're slow, but we
I don't know. And then I got my margaritas here. For school. I know. For school.
Lunch break.
My principal's here. Lunch girls in my room. Well, what makes that different? Thank you, girl. You know that's my drink.
What lunch do you next year?
What's that?
What lunch do you next year?
Yeah. The what?
What lunch do you
Oh. Hurry up! I'm already up! Hurry up! I had last lunch again. I'll say it for you. What are you guys?
First lunch.
Oh. Hey, Susan, we need to do something about this.
What?
My dog does that.
Do you have a vase, Carol?
We need to be cut.
I know, we need scissors and a vase.
Or
A big mouth.
You did good! Whoa! Did you? Look at this. That's beautiful. Look at that. I don't know. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Thank you. That's great. I love the colors too. I know, you had that there. Okay. I don't know what makes these people think that I drink. That's for recess, right?
Diane, do you need a margarita?
Huh?
Do you need a margarita?
Yeah.
Do you need one, really?
Sure.
You want one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's very true. They have to have something every 10 years. 11 years. Wait, I forgot already. These are nice. You don't have to convince me. This is for the camera. Right. Yes! Hey, voila! Yay! Sharp. Very good. That's nice, you guys. Thank you. It's gonna wrap this too long.
How old are you?
I know.
How old are you? 5.
Oh, pretty plant. Isn't that nice? Did you get that last our one last Susan Reed's parents? This is from Mike and Muriel and Julie. Mike, Muriel, and Look at this. That's a rose. Very good. No, Diane, that's a salt
Hope you lecture me.
That's from Pat Burrows. She left already. She had a leave.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Wait.
We're playing golf. He's trying to get as many strokes.
And then the rose is from Pat.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Save that gift.
Father's Day, we're playing golf. He's working. Sign one of these.
If I get up and
Well, then it wouldn't be a stroke.
That's right.
So see, I'm saying 1 stroke, 2 putts.
No.
Out that the federal spigot was open, many of the major institutions in Boston came a-callin'. The old Boston Garden, the local sports arena, got $15 million because the Big Dig took away storage space where the Boston Celtics had kept their parquet floor and other equipment. $15 million, even though appraisers said they could have replaced the storage space for $3 million. The local science museum got $500,000 for an exhibit about the Big Dig. And there was even money for a memorial to the victims of the Nazi Holocaust. We asked the Massachusetts director of the Big Dig, Peter Zook, about the memorial. What does it have to do with the highway project?
Right next to the Holocaust Memorial, we're making a mess down there for the next few years. And this was the first place that we could demonstrate in a public space that this project is going to bring with it amenities as well as the burdens of construction.
Appeasing the public with amenities is a driving force of the project. They're building parks all around town, even one on this island which used to be a dump. Now, for $130 million, they're depositing dirt from the Big Dig there. When it's done, it'll be open for picnics. Harvard professor Alan Altshuler says it's what you have to do when you build a big public works project in the middle of a city.
The federal government has created enormous incentives to satisfy all those who might sue to stop the project. So the pressure to achieve local consensus is phenomenally great.
So they're expending an awful lot of money to make sure that the federal flow continues.
Absolutely. The most important thing has been to make sure that nothing interrupted the flow of federal dollars.
With that in mind, the motto of the project seems to be, keep everyone happy. Harvard, for instance, where Professor Altshuler and his colleagues have written a $250,000 history of the project. Who paid for the study?
This study? This study was predominantly financed by the state itself, using federal money. So the same money.
The same money.
The same money.
The police, working as flagmen on construction sites, are getting $66 million in overtime. And the fire department?
The fire department saying, where's ours? What does the fire department want? They want a fireboat.
They really say, where's ours?
You know,
In so many words.
In so many words. This is Boston, right? So They want a fireboat. The state says, fine, they have a contractor then go out and buy this fireboat for the fire department.
The Big Dig forked over more than $230,000 for this little boat. The state inspector general says that was $100,000 too much because the contractor took a $70,000 commission for buying the boat and because the boat was designed wrong.
Evidently, the firefighters with their equipment on couldn't get into the cabins of the fireboat. And the fireboat was designed in such a way so that the tanks, the fuel tanks, were exposed on the exterior, and therefore, if they were near a fire, the boat had the potential of exploding. So the boat had to be redesigned, again, because it wasn't procured properly.
So they really couldn't go close to a fire.
Right.
This is not true.
Yeah, this is true.
Is it part of the contract that the state taxpayers or the federal taxpayers have to pay for whatever dumb mistake they make?
Yes, I mean, the taxpayers are paying for their mistakes. Yeah. Money is no object.
No object when it comes to keeping the business community from complaining. Take the case of the tunnel they're building under this channel near the Gillette plant. Engineers said it would have been a lot cheaper to put a bridge here. How much less would the whole thing have cost than it's going to cost now?
Our estimation could be around $500 million at least.
As
Other
much
people
as
conjecture.
$500 million.
Yeah, possibly, yes.
One reason for the tunnel, project officials were worried about angering Gillette, which would have lost part of its parking lot if they had built the bridge. It's not just businesses they're trying to mollify. If a certain community is unhappy with a design for aesthetic reasons, well, change it, for instance. This is one of 4 ramps that cost $18 million to build. The ramps were part of a complex bridge system to cross the Charles River and feed traffic into downtown Boston. It was called Scheme Z. They considered 30 other designs from A to double D and settled on this one. But then some local residents got together and decided they didn't like this design. They said it was chosen without their input.
Basically what it looked like, you ever see those Slinky toys? It looked like a vertical Slinky riding 10 stories up. Ugly, and they didn't like it, and the environmentalists didn't like it, the neighborhoods didn't like it, the businesses didn't like it, nobody liked it.
And so Scheme Z was scrapped. And now this is the ramp to nowhere. They had to come up with yet another design, which took yet another 3 years.
They look at this design, and they don't like this design either. But it's too late to do anything about it. This is now dubbed Son of Scheme Z. So now that's going to be the new design at an added cost of $1 billion.
So let's add up the Keep 'em Happy expenses. Scheme Z redesign, $1.3 billion. Boston Garden Storage, $15 million. Science Museum exhibit, $500,000. Holocaust Memorial, $750,000. The Picnic Island Park, $130 million. The Harvard Study, $267,000. Police overtime, $66 million. The Fireboat, $231,000. The Gillette Channel Tunnel cost add-on, $500 million. A new ferry terminal, $3 million. A system to protect fish, $1 million. The list goes on until you reach a Keep 'em Happy cost of more than $3 billion.
What's important to understand is that's a very different way of building a highway than the way we used to, where the engineers showed up, mowed down the houses, put up a highway, and 20 years later we were saying, why did we build that?
But you're being super sensitive to the concerns of the community, business, to the tune of $3 billion, which is almost a third of the whole project.
I wouldn't describe us as super sensitive at all. I would describe us as responding to those things that we think respond to real needs and add value to the project.
Zook argues that the Big Dig is doing what any city will have to do if it wants to rebuild its roads without destroying neighborhoods or shutting down businesses.
If we put this in medical terms, this project is the equivalent of doing bypass surgery on a patient who insists on going to work and continuing to play tennis. And that's what we're doing when we say we'll keep the existing highway open while we build a new one beneath it.
But building the new road is taking 6 years longer than it was supposed to, not only because they're trying to keep everyone happy, but also, critics say, because of construction giant Bechtel and its partner, whom the state hired to manage the Big Dig. So far, they have earned nearly $1 billion. Until recently, there were no penalties on the Bechtel partnership for delays or cost overruns. So there were few incentives for them to bring the project in on time and within budget. There have been an exceptional amount of cost overruns on this project. Do you feel that you take any responsibility?
I disagree that there have been an exceptional amount of cost overruns. There's been cost growth on this project, but an overrun is when we have some activity that runs over cost.
But my question and my point is, you take no responsibility for these added costs. You feel it's all...
No, I take responsibility for everything that happens here.
Has it been a mistake on your part? Are you ready to say?
I do not believe there has been a mistake on our part. I believe there has been some solid management of the design and the construction process here, but that these are the costs that you're going to incur when you build a project of this amazing complexity in an urban area.
But consider the case of the sewer pipe. A contractor was hired to move it at a cost of $20 million.
They come back later, and $20 million project is now a $39 million project. Why? 100 different changes were located. There was overtime, and they kept on changing this, that, and the other thing. The state looks at the bill, and they negotiated, this is in quotes, negotiated down to $34 million, saving the taxpayer $5 million. Depends on your point of view, right?
When we first came to Boston, we were surprised that there was so little complaining about the noise, the inconvenience, the little disruptions. And now we know why. But it'll be another 7 years before they finish the big dig. Massachusetts officials are beginning to worry that Congress will scale back the federal funding. That would leave the people here with a much bigger bill of their own. If that happens, it'll be a lot harder to keep everyone happy. By October 1st, Congress is supposed to pass new transportation funding legislation for the next 6 years. And it looks like Massachusetts is about to lose hundreds of millions of dollars in federal support for the big dig.
God, you are a pathetic lip. Oh, God. You are such a gutless... Oh.
She came to me with the plan.
And what did Mrs. Ralston suggest?
She would tell Alan she had been mugged, would force him to buy a gun.
Was there more to the plan?
Yes. She told me I would have to shoot her too. I said, "What?" She said, I would shoot her after she shot him.
On the night of the shootings, did the plan go awry?
I was supposed to be there before she shot Alan, but he saw the gun in her hand, so she had to shoot him before he came into the stairwell.
Who shot Mrs. Ralston?
I did.
Is this gun marked People's Exhibit 26 the one you used the night of the shootings?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Himes, please tell the jury what happened after Mrs. Ralston talked to the police at the Hampstead Hotel.
She called me, Janet called me from a payphone, told me I was going to be arrested, and I should go along with it. I said she was going to hang us both.
What were her exact words?
She said, "You dumb son of a bitch. You'll get manslaughter too. Minimum sentence, out in a third, less than 2 years." have each other, she said. And the money.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Will the defendant please rise? On the first count of the indictment, the charge of murder in the second degree, how does the jury find?
We find the defendant guilty.
On the second count of the indictment, conspiracy in the first degree, how does the jury find?
We find the defendant guilty.
Janet Ralston's playing a sewer lawyer.
She doesn't quit.
Reach any conclusions?
I'm trying to forget her.
Two men in love with her, kills one, ready to sell out the other. What is it? Greed? Power? Evil?
I thought you didn't believe in evil.
Never met Janet Ralston before.
She's either evil or she's 2 years old. She wants what she wants when she wants it.
That's cute.
Is Poirot up against an international arms dealer, or is it a straightforward case of a crooked jewel collector? You decide tonight on the Agatha Christie Mysteries at 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
Now, who's up next? He's a cigar-smoking, trench-coat-toting detective who'll solve any crime in the nick of time. Columbo, next on A&E.
At Zurich Direct, there are no surprises. You call us and we give you a free, no-obligation quote on high-quality term life insurance.
Hi, thank you for calling Zurich Direct.
And these rates are up to 70% less than what some other insurers charge.
Well, Mr. Madden, you're 42 in good health and you don't smoke? That's great. A 10-year, $250,000 policy is just $32 a month, and your rate is guaranteed.
I think everyone should call Zurich Direct. But then again, I'm probably a little partial.
Zurich Direct, a unit of Zurich Kemper Life.
Statistics show that 40% of all kids who smoke marijuana live in the city. Guess where the other 60% live?
Tonight at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific on A&E.
What are you going to do with that stamp?
I'm going to mail it. What else?
No, that's a special edition Bugs Bunny stamp. You can't mail it.
I don't care. I'm sending it to my creep boy.